Dogs had never been really walked on the leash that much. Because where did you guys live?
Ohio.
Ohio, and was it just kind of like, was it in the country or something, or yeah? So this is the first time they've had to like walk on leash. They probably ran around outside.
They did.
Yeah. That's how I grew up. My dog, I didn't even remember owning a leash when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like we had a dog and like we didn't have a fence and we didn't have a leash and they just like, they went like in my neighbors' houses.
Yeah.
Like they just like go hang out. It was weird. Like now looking back, I'm like, we did that? That's like how our dogs lived? That's insane. But yeah, I mean, that's how they lived. So.
Yeah. So that's how it was. So to move to an apartment
was a big adjustment for them.
Adjustment.
Yeah.
And they did well. And you know what?
Well, they're both, I mean, they're good, like, they're good dogs. That's why it wasn't spectacularly difficult for me to train with Max, because his baseline temperament is, he's friendly, he likes people, from what I can see, and like, he did, like, I can see, he showed some, like, little bits, he showed a little bit of fear at first, but once things became clear to him and predictable, like, he quickly stopped having that issue, you know?
You know, a big thing when I walk, and I got watching videos, you know, when we would see, if I was aware and saw a dog coming, you know, I would cross the street, keep my distance, and I would distract them.
Right.
And tell them, good boy, and I could do that, but it was if a dog surprised us if I came around the corner. Right. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. Well, he had a dog like barking at him in one of the videos that I've taken. Like there was two different dogs, and they were like, one of them was like really like, and like barking a whole bunch at another dog, and then at him. He did great. He did great. Yeah. So I'm excited to post those. Hopefully they'll be done soon and posted so you can see all of them. And I've taken him to a few different stores. I took him to Michael's.
Really?
Yeah, I took him to.
Good?
He did awesome. Yeah, he did all of his skills in Michael's. I also took him to Ross, and to let's see, Michael's, Ross, PetSmart, Bass Pro Shop.
Now, see, I could never have taken him in those places.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy.
Yeah,
So,
he did great. Those videos will all be up relatively shortly.
Okay.
Yeah.
and so.
Oh, and he likes the water.
Oh, he loves.
Yeah, he likes the water. I learned that. Yeah, he I have a video of him. He got in Lake Benson, over in Garner. He had fun with that. He was wading in the water on that little beach that they have there. Yeah, he's a good boy. Do you mind if I use this chair?
Oh no, you just make yourself.
Thank you. Oh.
Do you want some water or anything?
Sure, I'll take some water.
Okay.
Thank you.
Usually right on my heels.
Oh, he normally won't stay there?
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
It's a good job. Yeah, he'll follow you around if you let him.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I don't know how you would help me with that either.
They're always listening.
Yeah, always. Constantly. Yeah. So how about the first thing I can do is I will set up the eCall for you, and I will show you how it works.
Okay.
And then after we do that, I'll go over a couple of little graphics with you and show you how like his training works, like the core principles. And then after we do that, we'll take him on like a little 5-10 minute walk, and I'll show you the best way to take him on a walk and not get dragged onto the ground.
Okay.
Because I think that's important. Yeah.
One other thing, and it's a big thing.
Yes.
He would be so afraid of like any kind of, like if a car door shut 2 streets down, it would scare him. Somebody in their garage.
Right.
Opening the garage doors and stuff, he would get scared and he'd start pulling. He wanted to get home.
Right. Okay. So part of that he's doing way better at, and the other part of it isn't fixable in a straightforward way, right? Okay. So like his being momentarily startled, his startle response, it's a reaction, right? And it's not one that he's like, ah, where he's like thinking, oh, there's a thing over there, I'm scared of it. It's more like, oh, right? Like if somebody, like if I wasn't expecting it, somebody came up and tapped me on the shoulder, I'd be like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's up? Like, who are you, you know?
Yeah.
So like the startle response, you can't just like, if a dog has a startle response, you can't just make it go away. However, the further choice to try to sprint away, that can be fixed, right? And that he hasn't been doing to me. Because that one, yeah, that's a very different story, right? Because like feeling that and being startled and being like, whoa, what is that? Dogs can do that. That's not a problem. People do that. It's not a problem. That's no issue. If I went and slammed that door and he was like, oh, all right, well, that's how he responds to that. He reacts to it, right? It's a startle response. But him then say like in the house, like say he like jumped up and like ran into a corner, that can be changed, right? So he's doing much better.
So like when I'm walking him and something scares him,
Yeah.
and I would try to comfort him,
Yeah.
you know, but he wanted to get home right now.
Right now.
And he would pull me till we got home.
Yeah. So there are two things that one of them is just changing the way that you do the walks. That's the first thing. And then like that's not even necessarily training, just equipment, right? So the main difference between the main equipment difference that makes a difference is instead of using a short leash like that, like a 6-foot leash, because then if he does startle and like kind of like run off for a second, if he goes more than like 4 or 5 feet away, you're going with him, right? Because he's strong, right? Whereas on a flexi, he has an option. He can go 10 feet away and then kind of like look around. And then you can be like, hey man, like Max, come. And then he can come to you and be like, oh, okay. And then like you guys can continue your walk, right? Instead of him just like dragging you. Because what happens is if he tries to take off and then what happens is he hits the end of the leash and then he's got a bunch of pressure pulling back on him, right?
And
that encourages him to pull back towards the house.
Yeah.
Right? However, if he's on the flexi and he goes over there for a second, looks around, there's not then further pressure on him. He can just kind of like reorient and come back to you if he does that, right? So at the very least, you won't get yanked on the ground, right? But then further than that, he hasn't been doing that with me, which is good. And
I'm sure there were noises.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of noises, yeah. And if he does do it, we can stop it. We can stop him from doing it. You go, and then ask him to come. Right, and then he has to be. Then you've given him a command, so then you can reinforce the recall, right? Because instead of like trying to comfort him, because then you're kind of like reinforcing the behavior that he's running.
I knew that was wrong, but I didn't know what else to do.
You don't know what else to do, so you're just doing what you can, right? Funnily enough, it sounds counterproductive, but you tell him like, hey, like don't like quit it. You tell him to, with at least his case. There are weird fear cases where you have to try different things, but with him, it's basic enough where it's like, you just tell him to stop it. Like, don't do that. And then you give him an alternative command. You tell him do this instead. Come or sit or down or whatever it is, and he has to come to you and sit, right? And then you're like, all right, you good? And then you go, okay, let's go, right? And then you can just move right along. But we'll see if it happens while I'm here. If it does, then I'll be able to show you how to handle it. If it doesn't, then hopefully it's not something that's really happening anymore, right? But
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you penalize him for doing something crazy, like trying to yank you back to the house.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not an option. That doesn't work. And then you give him an alternative, like do this instead, right? And you redirect him towards something else, whether it's like recall you, like come, and then like, all right. What I would probably do is I'd be like, hey, come. And he'd come to me and I'd be like, all right, let's go. And then when I say let's go, he doesn't have to like walk beside me or anything like that. He can just walk wherever he wants to walk. It's fine.
So I don't have to have him beside me all the time.
Please don't. It's gross. I don't like it. I call it heel grinding. I've seen people, they walk with their dog right here all the time.
I don't.
Yeah.
I like when they're in front of me because I have more room.
Yes.
I can trip when they're...
And they like it too, because he can be out there sniffing stuff.
Yes.
Let him sniff.
Yeah.
That's the most rewarding thing for them. Yeah. Like you may have noticed, like I don't use a lot of treats in the videos.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually given him a treat the whole time he's been with us. He's gotten food and we put
Yeah.
stuff on it, like,
Yeah.
like peanut butter or whatever else, like nice stuff on his food, but not like just treats.
Right.
It's because it creates like a weird thing with the dog. Sometimes it feels like a bank transaction where I'm like, you sit and then I give you that. And then they're just like food. And then like, I just become like this weird thing where I'm like a food dispenser. I just dispense treats. Like I want them to see me as a person that we get to hang out together, but then also like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
Right? There's consequences, negative and positive, like for our relationship, just like anybody else. Like we have that, right? Even though we're like not like close, but like there's like, as an example, say like I didn't text you back for like a week while Max is with us. There's gonna be negative consequences, right? Or say like you like didn't pay us or something like that. There's gonna be negative consequences. But there's also positive consequences. Like if we both have like treat each other well and we have good experiences, then like, yeah, things go well and like we're happy with each other. The same thing with the dog, right? So we can make it that way with them where it's like, hey, like there's a lot more to this than just like, okay, like treat if you do the thing. And so that's one of the things I use as a reward a lot of times is just freedom.
Yeah.
Just like go sniff stuff, have fun. And they love that. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna sleep good tonight.
Oh, I think so. He's probably gonna pass out.
You know, I have fallen a few times.
Yeah.
But the last one when I broke my shoulder is, everybody's telling me you gotta get rid of this dog. Well, I don't blame them for that. They were just being dogs, and
Yeah.
I didn't teach them.
He didn't know. You didn't tell him, right? It's kind of like
Well, somebody came up.
if you have like
behind me
employees.
with the dog,
Oh, and that's when he kind of like freaked out and yanked you.
and I don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
All I know, but they totally surprised us, and I think they just went around and
It's kind of like if you told like an employee like, hey, like, like you're fired, and you fired them and like, but you hadn't told them to do the thing that you're firing them because they didn't do. It's like, well, you never told me to do that. And they're like, yeah, but you were supposed to. And what? You can't fire them for that.
Yeah, everybody said, you need
Yeah.
to get rid of these dogs. I'm not going to get rid of these dogs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're pretty great companions.
They're great.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have at least one video where like all I did was probably like 10 minutes of it was like me actually doing something. And then there was like 40 minutes of me just like sitting on the floor with them. Yeah. Because that's part of like what I like. That's part of the way I want to do the program. I like to actually just hang out with the dog because that makes a difference in how they see me.
Oh, yeah.
If they see me as, okay, every time this guy takes me out, we have to go like work
Drill.
and do things and drill and like do like whatever training we're doing. And like, he's going to like, I know he's probably going to punish me a few times because I get it wrong. And then like, that's all they ever do with me.
Yeah.
It makes it where it's not as good as it could be, basically. Yeah. But if I hang out with them and like they also see that like, yeah, sometimes we just like hang out. It's kind of like trying to build a little bit more of a relationship. Yeah.
Well, he's never been played with like you played with him.
Oh yeah.
The rough house.
You're like,
you're
not doing that with him, yeah.
I don't do that, so I'm like, he probably had no clue.
Yeah. At first, he didn't know what was going on. He was like, and then the way that I got him to start like playing with me harder. You might have seen this in one of the videos. I was just blowing in his face. I got him so worked up. Yeah. It's a strategy that I've used with dogs a lot of times in the past. It works with like a good 75% of dogs. Yeah. And he was barking at me every time I like went to go do it. He was like, "Arr, arr," which was cracking me up because I was like, he's really getting amped about this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't roughhouse that much.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just some dogs. And he shouldn't really... I debated about whether or not to give him like a thorough bath today. I ended up not doing it because of a few reasons. One, his fur, he'd still be wet like now if I bathed him like 6 hours ago. It really holds. And then like you got to be careful when you're bathing a dog with like doodle fur because you can mess it up.
He's getting groomed.
Okay, yeah, and that's the other
Thursday.
reason I was like, okay,
Yeah.
he's getting, even when you said it, he was getting
Yeah,
groomed on
'cause I
Thursday.
knew he'd be stinky.
Yeah, and fortunately, I don't, like at most it's just like some dirt.
Yeah.
But he didn't get anything else on him. Like he didn't ever get like any like pee or poop on him at all because he didn't stay in a crate.
Yeah.
He was in a big 10 by 10, so even if he does
Yeah.
poop, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. It's like way over there,
Yeah.
in the corner on the gravel. So it's like, what? I mean, it's not hard for him to avoid stepping on it. So he didn't really get that stinky other than just being like a dog that rolled in some dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, and he got in the water a couple of times, so that might do it a little bit, but he didn't get like crazy stinky or anything like that, fortunately. Yeah.
No,
But he's handsome though. I'm gonna miss him. Handsome boy. I always miss the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always end up missing them a lot because I spend a bunch of time with them, bonding with them and stuff like that, and then they leave, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where did they go?
Bo is so easy.
Yeah.
He's so calm and laid back, and he's just the goofy one.
He gets really ramped up out of nowhere sometimes.
Everybody's like, well, isn't it so much easier with just Bo? And I'm like, it is, but
you miss the goofball walking around the house looking crazy sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of like
we both did.
We have 6 cats, and some of the cats are just kind of like relatively chill most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 of them that are just like
It's their personality.
nutbags. They're just like, they got like just sludge for brains, and they're like, and they're just like sprinting around, attacking the other cats, having a good time, like acting crazy, and they ramp the other cats up. Like I wouldn't get rid of them for anything. Like they make it way more entertaining. Yeah, they make life a lot more interesting. Yeah, because I'm a cat dad. Yeah.
He's so happy. My daughter always jokes it's be like Max, because I mean everything. He's just happy.
Not a bad life motto. Yeah. Well, and so another thing that I learned about him that I wanted to share with you is that he once you get him past the panic response, because what I noticed was his first instinct when he felt pressure was he kind of panicked. Mm-hmm. And just kind of like went in circles and didn't know what to do, but then like when I showed him like, hey, do this, like that's what I had to do with the down, right? Because when I first was like teaching him the down, I just did it with a little bit of leash pressure. He went into it pretty easily, right? But then I had to start obligating it and making sure like it was more reliable. Like I made sure he did it.
The first video, I'm like, oh my God, he's so dumb. He's
Yeah, because then I had to make it more reliable, right? Because it's like, he went into it pretty easily, but then
he went right back up.
Yeah. So to make it more reliable, I have to add obligation, and adding obligation just means adding pressure, right? You add negative reinforcement, so you have to make it where it's like, hey, you get good stuff if you do this, right? Like I'm gonna say okay, and you're gonna pop up, and we're gonna like, fight. We're gonna do snappies and clappies and have fun, but also if you get up, like something bad's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna make sure you go back down, and it's not gonna be fun that you got up, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where we had to work through it, was at that like trigger point, because his first response to me like obligating it and making him do it was, and kind of like circle around and like kind of panic a little bit.
Yeah.
So I showed him with the leash. I used the e-collar and I showed him with the leash, like, hey, like you got to go into the down, you got to stay there. But what I learned is that once I showed him, hey, like do this instead, he actually coped with pressure really well. Once he understood. Once it was clear to him, do this, and the pressure just goes away, and then you're going to get something great afterwards. He figured out how to deal. He dealt with the pressure very well. Yeah. Right. Because actually, like the last couple of videos, you'll see I started getting a down in motion with him, which is pretty cool. It's just a fun thing where like I can be walking and then say down, and he'll go into the down, and I can keep walking, and he'll stay back there where I downed him, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I was working on that. That was the last thing I was kind of working on, was a down in motion and a sit in motion, whether it was from a heel or just from like just walking normally. And he was starting to get it pretty good. So maybe we'll try it when we go out.
Okay.
But let me grab this e-collar and I can show you how it works. And set it up for you. Okay.
All charged.
Yeah. So first thing is to turn it off, this big button on the back that says L,
Okay.
you hold this one down until the screen goes blank.
Okay.
Now it's turned. This one's turned off. This one's still on though because it's
Yeah.
blinking. You take that little, that's the male end, the red on the remote, and then you got the female end here on the receiver. And you see a red light. Now it's turned off. So now it does nothing. So then if I turn this one back on, it doesn't do anything, right? And then if I want to turn it back on, same thing. Now it's on.
Okay.
Now it'll vibrate
Okay.
or use the shock or anything else like that. Now I don't use the vibrate, so I'm going to change the setting for you to, let's see.
There are just too many buttons, and it worries me that I'll hit the wrong thing.
I'll make it as simple as I can for you, and I'll set it up where there are less moving parts.
You want more light. You don't use that, it said it's like a tapping.
The vibrate?
Yeah, I guess it's a vibrate.
Yeah, I don't use the vibrate very often. Okay, there we go. So, but sometimes I do use this one. It's a tone.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really train him with it, but I do use it sometimes, and so it makes a sound. It can be useful if, the only time that I really ever use it is if they're like far away.
Okay.
Because then maybe they can't hear me very well, but if this is like, that's loud. It's like right here. So they're not gonna miss that. So if they're like way over there,
Yeah,
I can get their attention because that's right in their ear,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
The only other thing, do you have the box that it came in?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
because
where is
I'm gonna
the
take these
shock?
off. That is these buttons here,
Okay.
and I'll show you how those work.
Okay.
Because let's see.
What were you using? What setting?
Let's see.
I bought a cheap one, and I was always afraid to use shock, which I shouldn't have been. But
This is the nice one, so you did good. You did good on this one. But yeah, if you go grab the box for me, I'll I want to switch the prongs out.
you train dogs and you have all cats.
Yep, I got one dog, but I'm a cat dad. Actually, on the back of my work truck, I have a big, huge sticker of a cat with a long mane. I love cats, but I love dogs too, obviously. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the kitties.
Aren't you working, like, kind of late tonight?
Unfortunately, this is very standard. I think yeah. Nah, think about that too much. Yeah. Fortunately, I can manage it for now, but like last night, I think I worked until like 1 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. I end up working like 14, 15 hours a day a lot of times, but oh, life, I'm poor. Yeah. Maybe one day. I'm trying to get it where I can have a little bit more balance, but I'm working on it. Little by little, making progress. Oh, okay, it's more simple than I thought. That's why I was doing wrong. because he's a good boy. Smart boy. I'm gonna have to hang out with somebody else at night now. Dang. Yeah, there was a couple nights we hung out pretty late. We're just chilling.
Oh, did you bring his food? Because I sent like a 50-pound bag.
No.
Yeah.
I'll have to go look for it. I'll go
he
check for it.
shouldn't even have gone through
He shouldn't
all
have gone through all of it.
No, oh no.
Yeah. I forgot that because what was the food? What was because I don't feed the
Plan.
dogs.
Yeah,
So
Purina Pro Plan.
Yeah.
His name.
yeah, our kennel techs feed the dogs. So I
Yeah.
sometimes that I blank out and forget.
Yeah.
I'll have to. Fortunately, I work all around this area, so
Yeah.
I'll look and see how much we have left, and I'll let you know. And
Because it shouldn't even be half.
it probably shouldn't be gone. Not in 3 weeks. It shouldn't be
No,
gone.
no.
Yeah, it's a Purina Pro Plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll see who's home, and send a text. Because one of our kennel techs should still be there. Actually, yeah, 2 of them are. So one of them's got to be. Yeah, because two of our kennel techs and 1, 2, 3 trainers and our admin, we all live on property, so one of them's going to be there. Yeah. All right, so what I did is I switched it out because he's got long fur, so I switched it out to the longer prongs.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you have the shorter prongs on with a dog like him, you're going to be choking him to try to get the prongs to touch. But this way, you don't have to have it on so tight for it to touch. The other thing that I did was I switched the button here to where instead of making the vibrate, it makes the sound. So you'll never have to change that. And then the other thing that I did is there's 2 buttons here on the side. You see those?
Yes.
There's a black one and a red one. This black one, if you look at whatever is on the dial, so you can change the level with the dial, right? So say I put it on a 15.
Uh-huh.
If you press this black one, you'll see that 15 flash, right? Because that means it's being used on the 15. Right? But if you press the red one, tell me what it says.
Low. Or wait. I can't see.
The
I can't see. I'm
can't see it?
sorry.
The 15 changes to
Oh,
a 30.
yeah, 30. Okay.
This red button is a boost button, right? So whatever the black button says, the red button will be 15 higher. That's what I set it to.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
change that to 5 higher, 10 higher,
So
15
if
higher,
he
30
doesn't
higher.
listen
You
with
don't
that-
have to immediately try to fiddle with this.
Okay.
If you need it to be higher for a second, you can just press the red one, right?
Okay.
And for him, right on a 30 is probably going to be sufficient in most cases, right? And if not, if you press this red button and it goes to a 45, that's going to be plenty. He's never going to need more than that, I don't think. Now, it varies, right, based on context. So say he's...
I mean, it's never high enough to make him yelp or anything.
With him, that's very unlikely. Yeah, one, he doesn't really yelp. Like, the highest I ever had it on for him at any point was a 50, and he didn't yelp. Maybe if you put it like all the way up or something like that, he might yelp.
Yeah.
But it's unlikely, right? But like 30, no, he's not. He's not going to yelp. The only time that I can see him yelping from something at this level is if you just surprised him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If he was like sniffing something and like, and then you pressed it,
Yeah.
and he was,
Yeah.
and he kind of yelped out of surprise.
Yeah. Okay.
But this isn't painful enough
Okay,
for
that's
him to
just
just
the
like
point.
scream or anything
Okay.
like that. And like as an example, like I'll show you. Like if I put it on me, and I put it on like say like a 5. I actually can't even feel it. So I don't feel it at all on a 5. On a 10, and you can check, just watch my muscle. I start feeling that, but it's like barely a tickle. And then on a 15, I start feeling that a little bit more, right? And then on a 20, that starts to be, that's more, right? But you don't see.
Isn't that like really uncomfortable?
No. It depends on where I put it on my muscle, right? If I put it up here, it's a tickle. I can feel it. If I put it directly on like the head of the muscle, watch my bicep. It just jumps.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like, oh,
Okay.
like painful or anything like that,
Yeah.
right? And then if I turn it up to like, say, like a 30, which is where I've a lot of times had it set with him. You saw my muscle jump? Yeah, it's a bit of a jump. But it's not like you can see I'm not like hiding pain or anything like
Yeah.
that, because I can just like keep talking and be like da da da. And I'm not like some kind of weirdo that just like doesn't feel pain, you know, I promise,
Yeah.
right? But I can keep pressing it and I'm not like, ah.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, if you've never ever felt it before, it can be like, whoa, right? However, he has felt it plenty of times now. So he's not like shocked by it. Well,
No pun intended.
no pun intended. He's not like surprised, like, oh God, like I've never felt that before. So the novelty wears off, right? So like the first time I use it, I test it out, right? So I put it on a 5 and then on a 10 and then on a 50. I'll just kind of like slowly work up until I see like them just basically do this. You see their ears move. What was that? And then I'll start using it at that level and then turn it up from there when I need to promote more obligation, right? You know what's funny is that I normally have a lot of, like, I've had lots of people try it on themselves. And you know what happens with people is there's two things. There's a novelty thing, and then people always have a much larger very often have a much larger reaction to it than the dog does. And the reason is not physical, it's psychological. They're all like ramped up, ready to like
See, I don't
feel
even
it.
wanna.
See, yeah, it's that.
I don't know
It's that feel.
what it
They're
is.
like, oh, and they're all ramped up for it to hurt.
Yeah.
And so even if it's like really minor, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
just because they're like
Right.
all freaked out by it.
'Cause
You know who's not?
the dog.
The dog. They're not expecting anything.
no.
They don't know anything. They don't know what's going to happen.
No.
They're not expecting anything. They're not ramping themselves up psychologically
Yeah.
like, oh, he's going to do it. He's going to press it. And they don't know like, oh, what's going to happen if I do press it. They don't know anything about that. So they don't have that psychological factor. So it doesn't do that to them.
Yeah.
Fortunately. And then like kind of similar like with me, like I don't have any psychological. I've shocked myself thousands of times. Like I don't care. Like it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not ramped up psychologically to feel it. It's very normal to me. I've done it lots and lots of times on my neck or on my arms or fingers or wherever. Don't do it on your fingers if you do try it. Because there's a lot more nerve endings here than there are here. So just like if you did it like on their nose, don't do that. I don't know why you would ever have a reason to put it on their nose, but that would be like evil because there's like this is like so many nerve endings.
Well, I've got
It's insane.
neuropathy, so I've got nerve damage, and I hate that feeling. It's just horrible. So that's what I associate that with, I guess.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
know what you mean. Yeah.
'Cause it's a nerve.
So it's fortunately it's not set up like a you can see it's a closed circuit. It closes, right? So it doesn't it's not so like like a taser. That's like designed to like shock you.
Yeah.
And like because like ideally like a taser immobilizes a person
Yes.
because the electrical current travels through their body and they can't like it locks their muscles up, right? That's the idea.
That's just right.
This does not do that. This is localized, so this doesn't travel.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like they use it a lot of times in recovery, like a TENS unit? Yeah, it's like where you put like some of those pads on, and like, I've used it for like when I've pulled muscles and stuff like that, doing stupid things. I've used it for muscle recovery, and it just kind of like pulsates, and it makes your muscle kind of move. Like if it's on like a really low setting, it's like it's sometimes even kind of pleasant, especially if your muscles locked up, right? Now, if you have ever like taken a TENS unit and been like, I wonder what it feels like, and you've like turned it up, it can be a little uncomfortable, right? But it's not like screaming in pain, like you're shocking, like you're like tasing me. No, it doesn't do that. It's just like a little uncomfortable. It can be like slightly painful on higher levels. However, that's the point. There's no other reason to use this other than for it to be a little bit painful for the dog, where they're like, oh. And the way I like to describe that is, what I'll encourage you to do is like, don't be shy about needing, if you have to turn this up, it's going to be entirely based on the reaction of the dog. So they're telling you how they feel with it. They're not hiding it. They're telling you how it makes them react. So if you press it on a 10, I'm gonna tell you what Max is gonna do. Nothing.
Right.
He doesn't care about that at all. It will do nothing. But I've had a lot of people where they feel like they're being nicer to their dog, and so they put it on a really low level, or they don't use it at all. That happened to me hundreds of times, and they're like, the dog's not doing the things you taught him, and I'm like, did you stop like reinforcing it when he didn't do it? And they're like, well, we've been using the vibrate. I'm like, no, don't do that, right? Like, because I'm looking at the total welfare of the dog. Right? What's better for his welfare? Well, if he keeps slamming you on the concrete, you're going to have people trying to get you to get rid of him. And that's going to be bad for him overall, right? Because where's he going to go? I don't know. He's maybe like another home, or like a lot of dogs like that, like they end up like going to a shelter and then they get euthanized or something like that. And we've had a lot of people refer us like dogs to us that were gonna get euthanized. And that's like they had other people, like other trainers and veterinarians, tell them, yeah, euthanize a dog. Normally it was like not like this. It was like an aggression case or something like that. And I asked, like, like, what have you tried and stuff like that. And they had never punished him for doing it. I was like, what? Because in my mind, that doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, so you can penalize him, you can punish it. And so then momentarily he's like, oh, doesn't like it, right? So momentary stress. And then he recovers right away, because you can be like, okay, afterwards, and be like, good boy, and like reconcile. Or kill him. I'm going to choose to punish him and have momentary discomfort.
Well, you hear so many.
But I'm not going to kill him. Like, that seems like much worse.
You say it's inhumane to use e-collars and...
Makes no sense to me. It makes a dog's life a lot better. Even if they weren't like at risk of being killed, but a lot of times they are, and a lot of dogs have been killed because they refused to do anything uncomfortable for the dog, like punish them in any way that was meaningful to the dog. But also, like, it makes their life better. Like, as an example, if he kept slamming you on the concrete, right, would that perhaps affect how often you took him on a walk? Did it? Maybe you walked him less, right? Is that good or bad for him? Well, that makes his life worse, obviously. Like, going on walks is fun, right? Going on walks with mom is like probably one of the best parts of his day.
It is, yes. And for me, too.
For you, too.
I mean, I love it.
And like, then it's not just his welfare. It's also yours, right?
Much so.
So, like, if you had to weigh the two things in a balance, like, all right, well, sometimes he's uncomfortable, right? Maybe like a little painful, and he's like, oh, and then but he knows what to do. It's not unpredictable or random. It makes sense to him in his head. And in exchange, you don't break your shoulder. Right? Breaking your shoulder is much worse than him feeling momentary discomfort, right?
That's why I have to do something.
So it's like, and there's like lots of other stuff. It's just like the overall picture is what I look at, not momentary negative affect is what they call it. Momentary negative like feelings. That would be like, do you have kids?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. It would be like saying, okay, say your teenager does something really stupid. I don't know if you've ever had that happen. And then you have to tell them, like, hey, like this party that you've been wanting to go to for the past, you've been planning to go for a month. You're not going. You can't go because you did this. Do you get like, are they happy? No, they're like devastated, and like they probably
I hate you.
yeah, I hate you, and like and they go in their room and they're just, and they're crying. If you just took a snapshot of that moment, there are people out there, very crazy people, if I'm talking to you, that would be like, you're a bad parent. Look how bad they feel. Look, you made them feel bad. It's like, you darn Skippy. I made them feel bad. Why? Whatever they did, like maybe they drove recklessly, or maybe they snuck out, or maybe they did something else that they really shouldn't do, like whatever it is, or maybe they like tried drugs or something, and you're like, hey, like no, like no, you're getting punished for that because you want to make sure that never happens again, right? And so then it's like, if you look at the whole picture, it's like, no, you better punish them. It's for their own good. It will make their life better in the long haul. So I figure that transfers over to dogs very cleanly. There's no difference. The only difference that I see, and this is what gets in people's heads, is that they do a couple of things. They infantilize the dog and make it where it's like, well, they're just dogs. They don't know anything. They can learn.
They have to learn to have a good life.
Yeah. And then the other thing that happens is
not being able to take them in a store. I hated that because I used to. Well, when he was younger, I could take them and they'd walk very nice in the store. But since we moved here,
he got weird with it. Yeah. But like the other thing that I think is part of the cause of people's attitudes shifting about that kind of thing a lot of times is that with like the example I gave with like a teenager, if you changed that story a little bit, and instead of the punishment being, hey, you can't go to the party, you hit them. Then you're starting to get in territory. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You did what? You can't do that, right? Don't do that, right? Now people used to do it all the time. But it's like, hey, like, don't do that. Why? You could talk to them, or you could take away something, or you could do, like, there's so many other options that they understand. Here's the hard part. The dog doesn't. They don't understand. You can't talk to them. You can't be like, hey, like let me explain. You can't do that because da da da. They'll be over there like, like, mom's happy. Yeah. Oh, good. So then it's like, all right, well, like if you look at how dogs interact with each other, what do they for sure understand? Physical punishment, right? So like if a dog is playing with another dog and one of the dogs jumps on them in a way they don't like, what do? They reach around and they bite at them, and then they go, and the other dog's like, ooh,
then it's over.
My bad, right? And then normally with dogs that are like friends, they just go back to play. They don't like there's no like psychological thing there where now they're like, oh, he hates me. No, they don't think that. They're like, oh, like they just go back to playing because they're like, oh, okay, I jumped on him too hard. Yeah, I jumped on him too hard. I shouldn't have done that. And then they're like, all right, like that was clear. He bit at me and growled, right? But it's all physical and social. And so then people sometimes have a hard time doing that because it makes them feel bad. It doesn't make the dog feel bad for longer than like 2 seconds. Or at most, if you drag it out, it can be like 30, 40 seconds. And then they're good. And then you just reconcile with them and you move on. The dog moves on. But having learned something, right? So that's why I like the e-collars a lot. Because what they do is, I think they're a really great tool because they make that kind of punishment precise and not potentially, not like you can't injure a dog with the like you'd have to do something really like evil to injure the dog with an I don't even know how you would do that. Like I could turn this all the way up and hold it down for like as long as it can go, like 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever, and hold it down all the way up. The dog might screech, but they're not going to be injured afterwards. There won't be marks on their body. I'm not going to hurt them. I have no reason to do that, but it wouldn't do it. So like in comparison to that, what people used to do, and some people still do, is since this didn't exist, you still have to communicate with the dog somehow. And so they had other things they did, right? And there are countries now where they've banned these, which I think is a very bad idea.
did?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there's like several countries where they've banned it. There's quite a number of them in Europe, and in like I think New Zealand banned it, and Australia it's kind of iffy. So they ban these, and then what do people have to do? Like I recently I was listening to a podcast, and a trainer was describing like a trainer came here and like he was visiting whatever, and he lives in a country where it's banned, so he doesn't use it with his dog. And so instead of that, like when the dog would like say like go ahead or something like that, he'd step on his foot, step on the dog's foot, right? Why? Well, you have to do something to let the dog know not to do that and for it to be clear. But in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, how hard do you have to step on their foot? And is the risk of injury higher stepping on their foot versus this? Yeah. And then like, can you be precise? Not as precise as you can be with this, right? And it's also the reason, like, you notice that, like, I've trained with prong collars on and off in my career, but like lately I haven't used a prong collar in probably months, because I realized that I like the flat collar paired with this because I can be extremely precise with this. But the prong collar is weird because they have partial control over how hard the prong collar is. Because if they run and then I pop, their force and my force hit. Or it's not as easy for me to like change this dial. I can change this dial and keep it very precise. But the prong collar, it's harder because I'm popping. So it's easier for me to accidentally pop too hard because it's not as nuanced.
And you got to know what you're doing because with that, because I researched that too.
And it's really hard to teach an owner. They end up either punishing normally way too softly, or sometimes way too hard for no reason.
I just, because you got to be precise with that, and I'm like, you know.
But this is a lot easier in my experience to make it more precise, more fine-tuned. So that's why I advocate for them. So the way that you would use this is the same timing, because like as an example, you punished him earlier over there verbally by going right? Because the that he has now, this is one of the most important things that I spend time teaching a dog during their program, is for to have actual like real meaning. Because a lot of times, you know, words have meaning based on what they predict. Kind of like, I remember my dad, you know, when I was a kid, and I have done it now myself, right? Like the dad look where they're like, and you're like, oh no, I don't like that. Why? What does that mean to you? Well, it's been paired historically with bad consequences. So then now just that look has meaning because of the consequences that have followed it in the past. So the same thing with the When you say that has the same meaning as this. It's conditioned. So the timing that you did with the there was good. He went to get off, he got back up there, right? That was a conditioned punisher, right? So you punished it. Now, like say he had like then gone to get off right away again and like had tried to get off. Well, he knows place. He stayed on place for over an hour. So if he goes to get off again because he's excited or whatever else, then you go and right after you say you tap this. That's it. That's how you use the e-collar for that kind of stuff, to reinforce commands. Same thing, he's outside, he's at the end of the flexi, and you say, and he's like looking at a squirrel or a dog or whatever, and you say, Max, come. He doesn't come. You go, And he still doesn't come. Tap. Tap the e-collar, right?
So I just have to tap that
this black button.
Black button.
Yep, and then if you need to use the boost for 15 more, you tap the red button, right? And so it's that simple, and the timing is that simple. I found when I try to make it...
So I don't hold it when black button?
Just tap it once.
Just tap.
Yep, just...
Okay.
Yep, and then if you need to, you tap it again. I never hold it down. I just tap it. For the most part. So that's basically how the timing of the e-collar works. The other really important thing is that when you put it on, if you feel his, you have to make sure that it is tight enough that if the e-collar is floppy and it's sitting like this, it's not touching my neck. That's your problem. This doesn't work if it's not touching his neck. So it has to be tight enough where it makes contact. So like, if you can get like 3 fingers in here, that's probably going to be tight enough, right? If you can like stick a fist in there, it's just going to be flopping around, right? Because the other thing you want to avoid is if it's not quite tight enough, but sometimes it makes contact and then it's not always contacting, what will happen is you'll be like, it's not working, and you'll be turning it up. And then he turns his head. So we're here, it's not working.
Yeah.
Not touching, touching. Turns his head, it tightens, it touches, and all of a sudden, instead of having it on a 25, which would have worked fine, it's on a 70, and he goes, ah! Right? Because it's way higher than it needed to be. But it just wasn't making contact before, right?
Feels so tight.
Yeah, it's
Really tight.
relatively tight, yeah. That one, I sometimes can make it slightly tighter than this one, because that one has a bungee.
Oh, I saw those.
Yeah, it has a bungee. So when he, like, it creates a little bit more room so it's not, like, choking him. Because you don't want to choke him.
No.
Yeah. I've accidentally put it too tight before, and then, like, I saw their eyes were a little red, and I was like, oh! And I felt it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a little too tight, and I had to loosen it. So, yeah, that's something to pay attention to both, but, like, make sure it's tight enough where it contacts, but not so tight that it's choking him.
Choke 'em.
Yeah. The other thing that's useful for this one is...
So when I get his hair cut, because I get him cut pretty short.
Yeah.
So change those prongs.
You'll be fine to just leave the same
Okay.
ones. They should be fine because they're not. His hair won't be so short that it's like sticking out really far or anything like that. This here is this is a lanyard.
And which that is what I'm gonna have because walking the dog.
Yep. So I have mine on a carabiner and one of those little circles. I prefer that because I'm always wearing.
Yeah.
Pretty much always wearing pants with belt loops.
Yeah.
So I can just clip it on like this, and I find that easier, and it doesn't like flop around as much. But the lanyard is fine too. It just you can do whichever way you like.
But I have to with the
Yeah.
2 dogs.
Yeah. And so like what I would recommend is if you a lot of times have pants with belt loops, just get one of these.
Okay.
Just get a carabiner and one of these little keychain things, and just hook it like that, and then hook it on your belt loop. Because then it doesn't flop all over the place. Because I find that unacceptable
pick up
personally.
poop and
I can't stand it.
I know.
Yeah, I can't wear the lanyard. So I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
See, I hate when this happens. Who's this? I don't know. Probably a spammer trying to make it where I can't block them. So they're annoying. See, we've already gone over most of that stuff. Let's see. Where is it at? I'll just pull this up. Sweet boy.
He's gonna sleep.
Yeah, he's gonna sleep. He's gonna be sleepy. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna email these to you as well. What's your email?
Deb Ander, DEBANDER.
Deb.
185 at Gmail.
Okay. Let me send this to you at. Okay. Sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. He's all sleepy now. Yeah, he got lots of kisses. Yeah. And then. All right, so I am sending these to you. I will show them to you briefly. We've already gone over parts of them. So this is, in a nutshell, how you communicate with dogs, like in a nutshell. Like I call them the 4 levers for behavioral change in dog training. So if you want to change a behavior, you can either reinforce it or you can punish it. Reinforcing it makes it more likely. Punishing it makes it less likely. There's 2 ways to reinforce. You can use positive reinforcement, which means they get some kind of benefit when they do the thing. Or you can use negative reinforcement, which means there's some kind of pressure until they do it, and then when they do it, the pressure is relieved. It's released. An easy example is if you get in the car, if you drive away without putting your seatbelt on, what happens?
Do the bub
Ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding, ding,
bell
ding,
goes
ding, ding,
off,
ding, ding,
yeah.
ding, ding. Why?
to tell you to
Put your seatbelt on. It's annoying. You're going to put your seatbelt on because you're not going to drive around with that on. It's
Right.
horrifying.
Right.
That's negative reinforcement. There's pressure, ding, 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 until you put your seatbelt on, and then it goes away. So then you're motivated every time you get in the car, you put your seatbelt on because you don't want to hear the dinging.
Right.
Another way you could do that is you could put like a little device in there that, like, if you put your seatbelt on, it gives you $1. But that would be expensive, so they don't do it, right?
Yeah.
And people would figure out a way to manipulate it, right? They'd break in there and get the $1. Yeah. They'd steal all the money out of it. So the point of that is, like, okay, those are the 2 ways you can create new behaviors or reinforce existing behaviors. So some examples of positive reinforcement. What's the first one you think of? If you want to give them some kind of reward or benefit.
Good boy.
Praise. Yeah, good
Yeah.
boy. Good job, boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
Food, right? Yeah,
yeah.
treats. The environment, right? They get to go sniff bushes and look at things and roll on the ground and stuff like that. That's reinforcing. Freedom, right? They get to go run around. Playing games with dogs. That's very rewarding for them. What you're doing right now, affection. You go, boy, yes, right? Other dogs can be rewarding, right? If they want to go play with them, and then when I get to them, people, right? If they like people, then like, yeah, going up to people. If you tell them like sit, and they're sitting, okay, and then you like point at the people, and they get to go like greet them, and he's like, then yeah, big reward, right? Squirrels, right? Wildlife things. Yeah, squirrels. That's very rewarding.
Oh my God,
yeah, they're pumped for that, right?
Oh.
Praise, overcoming challenge can be very rewarding for dogs, just like people. So if you make the exercise harder, right? If they have to down and then there's like stuff going, like a squirrel runs by, and you go, okay, and they're like, oh, that can be rewarding if they have to overcome challenge, or like in a game, in the context of a game. Or exercise and running, that's very rewarding for dogs, right? It's not rewarding for all creatures, but it is for dogs and people. That releases lots of happy stuff, right? Now, negative reinforcement, how does that work? So pressure and release, you can use physical, social, spatial, different kinds of pressure. Physical pressure might be something like a prong collar, leash pressure, e-collar, physical manipulation of some kind. So like a simple example is, if I pull up on the collar and he sits down and then I stop pulling on the collar, I used a negative reinforcement on the sit, because I pulled up a little bit, he was like, oh, and then he sat his butt down, and then no more leash pressure. The leash tension's gone, right? Or if I then pair that and I tap the e-collar, and then he sits his butt down and then he doesn't feel the e-collar anymore, he goes, oh, I can make it just go away. I can escape it by doing the thing. Or like what you did here is you went, and then you moved towards him. That's spatial pressure and social pressure, right? Where you're like,
Oh, so that's good to do?
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Yeah, you said and then you moved in towards him.
Okay.
And like a simple example of spatial pressure is like the current distance between us is comfy, right? We're fine. We don't know each other that well. Like, we're good, right? But if I like moved like this close to your face, yucky, right? Ooh, like, dude, like, what is wrong with you? You're like, you're gross. What are you doing, right? Because I'd be putting a bunch of pressure on you by getting too close to you, right? So you can put pressure on a dog the same way by using space and by using social pressure. So, like as an example, say he does something like he won't stop jumping on you, and you go and he's still kind of excited, but then you go and you take your 2 fingers, and just kind of like, not hard, just like a little, do like a little, and you're like moving into his space, and you're right?
Oh, okay.
That's more social and spatial than anything else, right? And then even like if I punish and then I want to make it more meaningful, I don't only have the option of raising the intensity. I can also make it last longer, but not raise the intensity. So like as an example, I could go, and then I could like tap the e-collar, but then I don't have to tap it at a way higher level to make it more meaningful. I can tap it at the same level, but then I can drag it out where I can go, I said no. Why did you do that? No, you don't do that again. You know, he's in trouble, like that. And then I can even change my tone into like a disappointed tone. Like, dude, why? Why? And all the while, he's doing, you know, like put our eyes going back and forth. And then maybe 30, 40 seconds, and then I go, okay. And then he gets up and I pat him, good boy, and then we like move on, right? So we reconciled, and he's fine after that. But then that's more of a punishment than just going and then tapping the e-collar and then going right back to whatever you were doing, right? So there's more than one way to increase how much impact a punishment has. It's not just got to turn the e-collar. Now there are some times where that's necessary, but there's a lot of other things to do. And like in the house, I'm probably going to opt for just doing a little bit of social and spatial and like kind of dragging out a little bit if I need to do something more impactful versus like cranking the e-collar up when we're just in the house. There's normally not any reason for me to do that. The only time that I will ever like go up higher, like a lot higher, is if we're outside and he's far away from me and there's danger, right? If he's like trying to like run like towards something he shouldn't, and I go, and he doesn't respond, I'm going to crank it up however much I need to because he can't be running away from me, right? So that's negative and positive reinforcement. Now, positive punishment and negative punishment. The reason I record all of this is because I'm giving you a lot of information, right? So positive punishment is exactly the same as negative reinforcement, all the same stuff, right? So physical pressure, social pressure, spatial pressure, all the same things, like a little nose boop or a little pop on the muzzle, like, hey, like don't do that. And then like the only one that I add that I've never used for negative reinforcement, I mean, there's no reason you couldn't. You definitely could. Is like a spray bottle. That works for some dogs. Don't know if it would work for him. He might just try to eat the water. I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably like it. Yeah, because some dogs like it, and it's just completely ineffective as a punishment. But some dogs don't like it, and so you can use it. It just made me think of this crazy dog that we have. Her name's Jenna, and she'd be like the happiest dog ever if you sprayed that at her face. Because like it's like hard to even like clean stuff like with like a water hose while she's around, because she will just like hunt it. And so you like have to like get her out of there because you can't spray like the ground out. You can't do anything because she just like chases the water like a lunatic. But yeah, so that works. But the only difference between negative reinforcement and positive punishment is that negative reinforcement, you're teaching something or you're reinforcing something they know, right? So if I go down and he doesn't down and then I tap the e-collar and say down and show him the leash again and he goes into the down, negative reinforcement. I'm reinforcing the down. But if I'm trying to penalize a behavior, and that penalty, the purpose of it is for him to not do something again, then that's positive punishment. That's punishment, right? Because what I'm doing there is I'm adding in something bad as a response to something he did that he shouldn't do again. Not because he is supposed to be doing something, and then the pressure goes away when he stops, you know, like when he goes ahead and does it. It's no... he's, you know, like jumping all over you, and you go, and you, no, that's punishment, right? Because the purpose of it is to make him not make that choice again, right? Don't jump on me, or don't. Like I actually don't care when dogs jump on me. I kind of like it, but
Uppies.
Yeah, uppies. I use uppies a lot. I like uppies. And it's also helpful with the jumping that's unwanted because you can make it clear. Because then you can make it where, if I invite you to jump, you can jump. But if I don't want you to jump, then I'm going to punish it. So then I punish it when they do it uninvited. But then if they invite, then they're cool to jump on me. So then I have a place for it. That way I don't get surprised. And he jumped on my back a couple of times. And I was like, dude, ow. Because he's got like, you know.
He's heavy.
He's got like, and his nails are very healthy. Yeah, they're not terribly long. They're just, but they're not weak. Like, and so, oh, that hurt. Oh, yeah, he scratched me a couple times. Like, you jerk. Yeah. The boy's sleeping now. His eye, when you just like mess with his eye, his eyes are like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's full on sleeping right now. Yeah. Yeah, so it's relatively simple, the difference between the two, but all the actions are identical, right? And then the last one is negative punishment, which I found to be less effective for most dogs that I work with, but it still can be effective sometimes. Like a simple example of it is if you like say you're holding a treat and they want the treat, and then they bark at you, you just don't give them the treat. And that's like a penalty because they barked at you, they didn't get the treat, right? So you're anytime you're withholding something they want, that's what negative punishment is. Yeah. But it's less powerful for most dogs. But there's less examples of there's less potential for fallout. So fallout is when you go way too hard and they don't understand. And you haven't established any kind of relationship cooperation and you go super hard on them. Then they can start to have weird, suspicious behaviors where they're suspicious of random things, or they're kind of weird with you now. But I don't think you're really in danger of that. So, but basically don't turn it all the way up and then just start punishing them with it all the way up or something like that. Because that will probably backfire on you. Yeah. But yeah, that's the main stuff there. The other thing that I like to go over is this is a little graphic that explains how learning happens. I'll just tell it to you. Essentially, all learning for people and for dogs happens, at least in this model of learning, the same way. You have some kind of behavior that you do, and then there's something you're used to having happen when you do it, right? And if a different thing happens, right, the pattern that you expect isn't the result, then that violates the pattern. And you go, wait, what? And then you have some kind of either rewarding or aversive consequence. So say you've opened your fridge who knows how many times, and every time you've opened it, one, nothing bad's happened, and number two, you can get food out. Pretty good exchange, right? Say that you went to touch your fridge, you went to open it, and you got shocked. You'd be like, huh, what just happened? And then if you went to open it again, same thing. It would start to change your behavior pretty quickly. You would start trying to figure out, one, why. And you'd probably just call up somebody and be like, what's going on with my fridge? But if you didn't have that option, you would just be like, I'm going to stop opening my fridge now, right? I'm going to order food or, do something else, right? Because there was an unexpected aversive consequence, right? Or if every time a friend called you, it was just not a fun conversation. It was just, they just complained the entire time and you just, it was awful. You might stop answering their phone call, right? But then if you did answer and then they were very encouraging and it was a nice phone call, you go, interesting. And then if you did that again, and
maybe
nice conversation, and then you start answering their phone calls, it changes your behavior, right? Because there's an unexpected rewarding consequence. And so what has to happen is you have to return to normal in order for that to work. So it's called a prediction error. You're predicting one thing and something else happens. And when you do that, you have a period of time where you return to baseline, where you're neutral, nothing's happening. And then there's a second trial. That's where the learning happens, right? So the second time, that's where it starts to show, you start predicting something different. So that's how all of it happens with dogs and with people. So an example with a dog is, say that they've pulled on the leash, hundreds of times. And what happened is they got it doubly reinforced. One, the thing that they were trying to get to, they got to it. And when they pulled, pressure was on their neck. And when they got to the thing they wanted, you stopped because you're looking at your phone. And so you just stop and you're like, okay, whatever. And you're looking at your phone. And so then the pressure went away because they pulled, they got to the thing they wanted, and then the pressure released as soon as they got the thing they wanted. So then in their brains, they go,
they think, I can do
how do I get what I want? I pull.
Yeah.
Because then there's pressure, but then the pressure goes away because I pull, because I keep pulling, I continue to pull, the pressure goes away, and I get to the thing that I wanted. So it's reinforced negatively and positively, and they go, I'm going to pull every time because that's great, and then it becomes a habit. However, if then they're predicting that, and then they go to pull, and they get shocked with the e-collar, and they go, whoa, what? And you go, okay. And they try it again, same thing happens. They try it again, same thing happens. They go, oh. And then they start not. When they they feel a little bit of pressure on the leash, they go, and they come off it, right? Because it's just prediction error, right? They think one thing's going to happen and something completely different happens, right? So that's how learning happens. And then last thing, and then I want to go on a little walk, is there are two primary ways that I train. And then there's one third way that's like a contextual thing. So there's playing games. I love training that way. I just play, and then I use negative reinforcement during the games, and it becomes integrated as part of the game, right? And that's very, very, very efficient, very effective. The second way is on walks. Walks are really great for training because the easiest way to reward a dog on a walk is to just release them. Release to freedom. So you use negative reinforcement to teach them the thing. Like say I want them to down, I say down, and then I use a little pressure to show them, and they go into the down, and then I go, okay, and they go, whew, and they run, go sniff the bushes and sniff the ground and do whatever they're doing. And it's free. I don't have to buy anything, right? So the main thing you'll probably be doing the most is taking them on walks, right? And so that's where you'll probably do a lot of the maintenance. The third one is what you saw in some of the videos, like home contact training, where I just have them in here and we're just hanging out, and I might ask them to do a thing here or there and then say, okay, and then they're released. And then the other main thing is if they're doing crazy things in the house, which I don't think is much of a problem with him, but you basically just tell them to stop.
No, this is it.
Yeah, I never had an issue with him in the house. So let's take him on a little walk.
Okay.
And I'll have the leash at first, and then I'll show you, I'll let you handle it and show you how to do it. Do you mind if I use your bathroom?
Oh,
really quickly? Okay.
Straight through there.
Perfect. Let me just turn this off so I don't record myself peeing.
Okay.
Because the sound will go through the microphone.